Welcome to the pre-conference briefing. My name is Mike Sluter and I serve as the Holston Conference Director of Connectional Ministries. Each district is hosting a briefing at a church within their district bounds. The schedule is posted at ac.holston.org. This online version contains the same information that will be shared at the district sites and is available for use by those unable to attend their district event. A two-page summary handout has been prepared to accompany this briefing. It too is posted at ac.holston.org. It will be helpful for you to have access to this document as you listen to the briefing. Thank you for joining us today so that we will be prepared for our 2018 Holston Annual Conference session. This year's annual conference will gather under the theme of Jesus is Good. This information was found inscribed on one of our South Sudanese churches that started in the Ugandan refugee camps. Even as many of our brothers and sisters from South Sudan have had to relocate to Uganda because of civil war, they continue to plant new churches, train new pastors, and educate the children. They continue to claim the depths of their faith in the midst of dire and stressful circumstances. A picture of this inscription is on the cover of your annual conference materials. These words will remind us of the source of our strength and our hope as we seek to live faithfully even in times of change and uncertainty. Regardless of the circumstances around us, we remember that Jesus is good and share that life-giving message through our work and witness. You have been receiving annual conference newsletters by email providing you information related to registration and participation opportunities and deadlines. We trust you have found these helpful. They will continue to come to you between now and annual conference, so continue to read them to be fully prepared. The Book of Reports is available online at ac.holston.org. Remember that web address because it's where you will find numerous resources related to annual conference, ac.holston.org. For those of you who ordered a print copy of the Book of Reports, it will be sent to you soon. The full schedule for the annual conference session can be found in the Book of Reports or can be downloaded from the annual conference website. Please notice that registration for annual conference is only on site at Lake Junaluska this year. This is our first year to be organized into our new 9 districts that we approved as part of our conference strategy team report at last year's annual conference. In your Book of Reports, you will find a list of our conference churches in their new district alignment. Please take the time to review this material and confirm your church's new district. In addition, you will find the map of the conference showing the 9 districts and a thumbnail sketch of some of the communities and United Methodist Ministries in each district. All of this is to help with orienting ourselves to our new way of being organized. Registration will be organized by the 9 districts, and it will help you move through smoothly if you have already confirmed your new district. For those who were elected as district at-large members, your registration will be with the district of your local church. Again, please do your best to find your church name and new district name before you arrive. If you have questions, there will be persons at registration to help you. Registration on Sunday will begin at 2 p.m. and take place at the Foundation for Evangelism. This is the second building on the left as you come through the main entrance at Lake Junaluska. We will be in the Reynolds Conference Center, which is to your left when you enter the building. At registration, you will receive your name tag and a worship book. Please bring both your name tag and worship book to every session. Registration will move to the Susan Todd Lounge at Harrell Center beginning on Monday morning. Even if you are only able to attend part of the annual conference, please be sure to come by registration at some point so that your attendance can be recorded. Those who are staying on the grounds at the lake will check in for your room at the Bethea Welcome Center next door to the Foundation for Evangelism. Here are some quick reminders for you in your preparation. Registration this year is still an online process for the 5K 1-mile walk and for the missions dinner. May 18 at midnight is the deadline to sign up for the missions dinner and the 5K run 1-mile walk to benefit the conference mission offering for our South Sudanese brothers and sisters in exile. The missions dinner is $25 per person and the run walk registration is $10 for walkers and $20 for runners. If you need assistance with the registration for these events, you may call the conference office. The registration deadline for Childcare is June 1st. These arrangements are made directly with Lake Junaluska. The registration form is online at ac.holston.org. The deadline for ordering a hard copy of the Book of Reports is now passed. The online copy is already available on the conference website. You may download it at any time. Also, if you will check the website after June 1st, you may download an electronic copy of the worship book as well. The lay members of the conference will gather for the laity session on Sunday at 4 p.m. at Stewart Auditorium. The clergy session will begin at 5 p.m. Sunday, also at Stewart. To help with this transition, we would ask the lay members to exit Stewart as quickly as possible following your session so that the clergy can enter and begin on time. The Board of Laity is coordinating a prayer ministry on behalf of the annual conference this year. A prayer room in the Room of Memories adjacent to the chapel will be available from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday. Worship is always a highlight of our time together. Here's what we have on the agenda as our worship schedule. Sunday at 7:30 p.m. will be our opening worship with Holy Communion. Bishop Taylor will be preaching, and pre-service music will be provided by First United Methodist Church in Oak Ridge and will begin at 7 p.m. We will sit in areas designated for each new district. Look for the signs throughout Stewart Auditorium. Monday and Tuesday will begin with Bible study at 8:30 a.m. in Stewart Auditorium. Reverend Kim Goddard, Superintendent of the New River District, will lead us each morning. Holy Communion will be part of the Tuesday morning Bible study time. The memorial service will be on Monday at 2 p.m. Our guest preacher will be Reverend Jeff Wright, District Superintendent in the Appalachian District. There will be a conference choir for this service. Please contact Lori Sluter at lorisluter@holston.org by May 30th to participate. The first rehearsal will be Sunday evening following worship. Tuesday at 11 a.m. is the retirement recognition. Tuesday at 7:15 is the mission celebration. Bring your church's mission offering for our South Sudanese brothers and sisters in exile with you to this service. Fred and Libby Deering will be our guests, and special music will begin at 6:45, led by the praise team from Cokesbury United Methodist Church in Knoxville. We end our time together on a high note Wednesday at 9 a.m. with the commissioning and sending forth service with Bishop Taylor preaching. The Lake Junaluska Singers will share pre-service music beginning at 8:30 a.m. On Monday evening this year, we will have both worship and a business session. The conference strategy team will present an update on the 7 areas of the strategy adopted at last year's conference. They will host a chat room on Monday from 5:15 to 6:15 p.m. in Terrace 319. We will also hear from Alice Williams, who serves on the Commission on a Way Forward. This group of 32 persons has been meeting since the 2016 General Conference in preparation for a called General Conference that will be held in February of 2019. The purpose of the Commission's work and the called General Conference is to look at the Church's disciplinary provisions related to human sexuality. Alice will share with us about the Commission's work. As part of that evening, we will offer a prayer for the Holston delegation and share in Holy Communion as we remember the grace of Jesus Christ that leads us and sustains us into our future. In addition to the presentation, Alice Williams and the Holston delegation will host a chat room regarding the Commission on a Way Forward and the called General Conference on Tuesday from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. in Terrace 316. Willie Kitchens will provide our special music for the evening. On Monday morning, we will send off the trucks with the hands-on kits that have been collected for Zimbabwe and Liberia. The collection dates for these kits are June 6 and 7. Check with your district office for specific dates and locations for collections in your area. Your local church treasurer received an envelope for the annual conference mission offering for our South Sudanese brothers and sisters in exile and an envelope for the Change for Children offering. The annual conference mission offering for our South Sudanese ministry will be received on Tuesday night during the mission celebration. The following video will help you learn about this year's offering. Greetings, Holston Conference. Mike Sluter here, coming to you from my office with the news that the recipient of our 2018 annual conference mission offering will be our South Sudanese brothers and sisters living in exile right now in northern Uganda. We're asking that you pick a Sunday in the month of May, any Sunday of your choosing that works best for you and your church, to receive an offering that will be used to help our brothers and sisters of South Sudan. As you may know, many of our brothers and sisters now live in northern Uganda among 3 different refugee camps. While I was there last year in January visiting with our South Sudanese friends, I met the Reverend Achilles. He's the district superintendent of the Arua district of the East Africa Annual Conference there in northern Uganda. Reverend Achilles lived part of his childhood as a refugee in the Congo when Uganda was in the midst of turmoil. He'd lived this. So I asked him, "You've been there. You know what it's like. You know what we're trying to do to help support our South Sudanese friends. What are the best things that we need to be focusing on?" Reverend Achilles shared with me 2 things that day. He said, first, educate, 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 especially the children. He said Uganda lost a generation to no education because they lived in exile. And he said the best thing you can do for South Sudan is to continue to educate the children, educate the people. Secondly, he said, as best you can in this refugee setting, help the South Sudanese be as self-sufficient as they can, because eventually the UN will leave. So your offering, through your generosity and your support, we will do these 2 things. We will educate children and pastors, and we will help families to be able to survive in a situation that they might not otherwise be able to. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your faithfulness. I want to share with you now some thank yous, not from me, but from some of the pastors of South Sudan living there in Uganda now, and also from the children of Grace Home. I hope you enjoy these. Thank you again.
I want to thank you, Holston, for the support that you have been given for us. It has enabled us to support our family, so to support even us for education.
For the great things that he has done to us in South Sudan, and also for remembering we, even if we are in exile, but still they are considering us to be the South Sudanese. So with this, I think I'm so grateful for that.
And all the time, we cannot forget to pray the God. This is the time now. I'm giving them to you all. And he sent all the greeting to Holston Conference. And through our bishop, that let God bless her and all the people in life. And all the people of US, let God bless you. Support us. We deserve it. Thank you.
Yes, my name Pastor Amos Taban, South Sudanese, a pastor of United Methodist Church. I send my message for Thanksgiving to the Holston Conference for the support to us as pastors.
We love you, Holston. Thank you.
The video you have just seen and bulletin inserts are available for use in your local church at acoffering.holston.org. You are encouraged to receive a special offering at your church during the month of May for the conference mission offering. The Change for Children offering will be received on Tuesday morning outside Stewart Auditorium between the hours of 8:15 and 10 a.m. This offering is used each year to fund grants for children's ministry throughout the conference and in Africa. This is an ongoing ministry that will continue to provide grants to our local churches for their ministries with children. Our business sessions will allow us to hear updates from our conference ministry areas as well as our larger church connections. We will also recognize those who will receive the Denman Awards for evangelism and those who are being licensed and commissioned for ministry. We will hear from our conference institutions, including our Wesley Foundations and conference colleges and Holston Home. We will hear from the Committee on Petitions and Resolutions. On Monday morning, we will hear a presentation of information about the connection in Sevierville and take our vote regarding the possibility of purchasing this property on Tuesday morning. A chat room for more information on the connection will be available Monday from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. at the Susan Todd Lounge in the Harrell Center. Please give your attention to the following video, which will feature Jason Rowe sharing with us about this mission and ministry center.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Rowe, and I get the privilege this afternoon to inform you about what's going on at the Connection. For the last 12 years, I've been serving as a general evangelist, but over the last 10 months, I have been tasked to serve here at the Connection as the ministry director. And in doing so, I have seen how God can use this place to do incredible ministry. As we move towards annual conference, there's going to be an opportunity for you to take a vote on whether we move forward as a mission center here in Sevier County. Now, there's several things I want to get communicated today, and so I want you to sit back for a moment and kind of take in all of this information. One of the things I want to do today is I want to make sure that all of the misinformation is clarified today. I also want to make sure that we cast a clear vision on what we're going to do moving forward here at the Connection. And we also want to give you a clear understanding of the facility and the feasibility of our purchase. So how did we get here? It all started with a conversation that took place between J.S. Elledge and the associate pastor at First United Methodist Church in Sevierville. The conversation was whether or not the Holston Annual Conference could feasibly get into a building such as this for it to be a place where God could reach not only Holston, but around the world. J.S. was a trustee and director of Citizens National Bank, a businessman. Unfortunately, he passed away on March 12, 2016. But before he passed away, he worked out a deal with Citizens in the Holston Conference for a lease-to-own opportunity that was $5.3 million, lease-to-own, with a purchase in 2 years. We've paid down that $300,000, and now the purchase price is $5 million. J.S. Elledge was right. He had a vision, and in just in these 2 years, we have seen this property go up in value, and we have a held purchase price of $5 million. The Holston Connection is an opportunity for us to have a mission, ministry, and training center right in the very center of our annual conference. One of the things that's been going on here over the last couple of years since the Gatlinburg fires, this has been the headquarters for fire rescue and fire rebuilding in Sevier County. This has been one of the places where a lot of the different agencies have met, whether it be Appalachian Service Project, Volunteer East Tennessee, AmeriCorps, Dollywood Foundation, and of course Holston Conference has planted themselves here in order to do ministry together to help the fire victims in Gatlinburg. Their offices are here. We meet here. All the supplies are here. Many of you know that the Holston Conference raised $480,000 of rescue relief that has gone into supplies and to help people in Gatlinburg. All of those supplies are housed here, and groups come here to build and to take to Gatlinburg and to assemble houses. And so God has been doing an incredible work in the way of fire relief based out of the Connection. Another great thing that's going on here at the Connection currently is every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, we have Celebrate Recovery. And men and women from around this area are coming here to do ministry, to be ministered to, and to be in a part of recovery, whether it be for habits, hang-ups, for hurts, for people that are addicts, for all different kinds of things. There's a great healing ministry taking place each Tuesday night at the Connection. The biggest thing that's going on here is our Hispanic community. We have a church that meets here on a weekly basis. 3 nights a week they're having services, and in these services they have over 300 people that are a part of this congregation that have formed here, and God is doing magnificent work with them and through them. They worship on Wednesday night and Saturday night and Sunday night, and they're a vibrant congregation. One of the things that we're looking to do as we move forward is that the Connection is this church's home. They really have no place to go. We are looking as we move forward to make this their permanent location for the Hispanic ministry and the Hispanic church. And so I hope and pray that as we move forward, that God uses the Holston Conference to minister to this Hispanic congregation, and that God does a good work through us with them. Another piece of our ministry here comes with the Event Center. It's the one you see behind me. The Event Center holds nearly a little over 700 people, and it is a turnkey opportunity for people all over the conference and all over the country to come and have events. We've been doing some great work through that, and people come and they will rent the building. As many of you know, we've also hosted some of our Holston Conference events that take place in the Holston Conference anyway. Over the last little bit, Res Kids was here. We had a little over 1,200 people came on a weekend, made up of families and children. They came and they were ministered to, and they worshiped here, and it was an incredible event. The United Methodist Women have been here as well for their annual retreat. We're hoping in the future that Divine Rhythm can make their way here if we so choose to purchase the facility. Also, it could be a great place for other trainings for Holston, convocation, ministry training, youth worker training, children's training. There's just an ample of things that we can do to serve the people of Holston Conference in the way of training as a part of our mission here at the Connection. One of the hopes is, as Holston Conference, is that we're always great people to respond to what God is doing in our area. And what not a better way for us to have a place where we can call our mission hub, and it can be our response throughout this region. One of the models that we want to model ourselves after is a place that many of you have heard about. It's called Sager Brown. It's a place where materials and things can be housed so that we can have a quick response in case of a disaster or in case of a need. That we can be a place where disaster relief supplies network here and can be shipped out to all the corners of our annual conference and all corners of our region. A place where emergency food can be stored so at a moment's notice that it can be sent out, whether that be food or water. That there can be an international response, that when there's a disaster, Holston can respond immediately. Not wait till we have to collect things, but we already have things collected so that we can have an international response. That we can have medical and vision teams already prepared and ready to go. We can have those disaster relief of construction and people that are trained to go into disaster areas so that Holston can respond. That we may have housing rehabilitation in the area where teams can go out and help those in need and those that are poor and need home repair. A place where we can give local food assistance. That we can be a global mission effort, not only locally, but regionally and around the world. That's the vision for the Holston Conference. That's the vision for the Connection. Another piece of this is that we're in conversation with UMCOR. UMCOR has collection and distribution places all around different geographical areas. As we move forward, one of the conversations we've already been having is being on a list to where they'll come and they'll look at our facility, and we can be that place for Holston where things can be collected and distributed and sent to UMCOR, and we can work hand in hand with UMCOR. Along with everything else that we've been going on, we also have the training center, a place where people can come and be trained. And this can be for your church as well. It can be for lay leader training, for staff retreats, ministry conferences, for broadcasting events around the world, for Christian concerts and youth events. It's a place where people desire to come in the center of Sevier County, Sevierville, and Pigeon Forge. I want to break down some things for you now in the way of what is all contained here at the Connection. For many people, we've learned that all you know about is this facility. This facility is a great facility, but I want to give you what the bigger picture is in the way of the Connection. J.S. Elledge negotiated the lease with an option to own, locking the purchase price at $5 million from Citizens National Bank. With this, it comes with 49.2 acres of land. The main facility is 41,998 square feet. There is an air pavilion that's 3,200 square feet. There's 2 warehouse spaces that one is 4,000 square feet and one is 2,000 square feet. Sound and media equipped, furniture, fixtures, and all the equipment, everything is here and ready. One of the great things about the connection is that we have equity already built in. The tax appraisal alone is $6.3 million, and we have a purchase price of $5 million. Citizens National Bank is going to give us some terms, $1 million down, and we will finance the $4 million at 5%, amortized over 30 years, which will be due in 10 years. With that, we'll be doing ministry. We'll be doing mission. And all the while, the property will be appreciating, and we'll be doing the Lord's work. And then, in 10 years comes, we can decide what the next step is for Holston Conference and the connection. You may be asking how we're going to pay for the connection. We see 2 primary sources of funding. One being that the Congregational Development Committee has funds invested in the Holston Conference Foundation. Secondly, income from rental space and administrative offices and events. As of December 31st, 2017, there was $4,908,292 on deposit at the foundation. $1 million down payment would be taken from the accounts that the Congregational Development has on deposit at the foundation. Then we will take an additional 7% a year from the earnings from that endowment. This amount would be approximately $210,000 a year. In addition to that, we will also be renting out the building. And on the conservative side, we really feel that we can rent the building 40 weeks a year at $10,000 a week. Now, you may sound that sounds like that's a lot, but for an event center that has production in place, to pay $10,000 for an event center for a weekend or for a week is very much doable in Sevier County. That will give us a projected income of these 2 revenue streams that will help pay for the expenses of the connection. We believe that we can fully fund and staff the connection to be a mission, ministry, and a training center that will serve the Holston Conference and the entire region. The mortgage payment will be $257,671.44 per year. The operational expenses, based on expenses from 2017, were $167,398.58, which gives us an annual expense of $425,070.02. And based on the current space needs and the demand for an event space in Sevier County, in the Pigeon Forge area, we believe that we'll have an annual projected income of $610,000 using these 2 primary sources of income. The connection is simply an opportunity that has been given, laid in the lap of the Holston Annual Conference, an opportunity for us to invest not only in a piece of property that will appreciate over the next 10 years, but also an investment into Hispanic ministry, an investment into missions, an investment into the development and training of people all over Holston and around the world. It's an opportunity for us to do incredible things for the kingdom of God. It's an opportunity for us to be Holston and the core of who we are in the way of missions. What it's not, well, I'll tell you that there's been lots of rumors out there about what the connection is all about. But I want to tell you that, for one, that it's not us coming to you at any time and asking you for money. It's not going to be an ask in a couple of years to help fund the connection. Secondly, it's not going to take any of the money that is allocated to the Congregational Development Committee in the annual budget. Those funds will remain the same. Also, it will not hinder or slow down the giving of grants from the Congregational Development Committee throughout the conference. And so we hope that you'll understand that God is doing something great here. Ministry has already started, and ministry needs to continue. You may be asking, who's going to run the connection as we move forward? I can tell you on a personal basis that I have committed to be here part-time into the next year as we work into this being a full-time position one day. Also, Angela Lee, who's over our Alcoa office, is going to be the building superintendent. And Bruce Adams, who many of you may know as from Resurrection, from Res Kids, from Divine Rhythm, that does production. He is going to be our production manager here at the Connection. So what's next? We need your help casting the vision for the Connection. Secondly, we're going to be gathering at Lake Junaluska for a Holston Annual Conference in a couple of weeks, and there you're going to be presented the opportunity on when we move forward and purchase the Connection. Thank you for coming to your pre-conference briefing. There's going to be a representative from the Congregational Development Committee here to answer questions after your meeting. Thank you. God bless.
The proposed 2019 conference budget is $9,252,002. The Holston Conference Council on Finance and Administration has adopted the practice of setting a budget that represents the funding level currently provided through our congregational tithes. This practice enabled the conference to finish 2017 with a positive balance and to pay the general conference apportionments at 95%. The 2019 budget reflects the reduction in expense in moving from 12 district superintendents to 9 and working with the Board of Pensions to move the retiree health insurance supplement from the budget to the expenses covered by the direct invoice for health insurance and health insurance reserves. The Book of Reports contains a summary page and the full proposed budget for adoption at annual conference. The 2019 budget includes a line for emerging ministries which will provide funding for the support of ministries directed toward the United Methodist Church's 4 areas of focus. This is a commitment included in the conference strategy adopted at last year's annual conference. The proposed 2019 total budget figure is based on the 2017 tithe giving history. Based on the 2017 local church year-end reports, the tithe potential is $10.29 million. From 2011 to 2015, Holston paid our general church apportionments at 100%. The 2019 budget once again includes funding the 100% payment of general church apportionments. To assist with questions related to the budget, the Council on Finance and Administration and members of the Board of Pensions and Health Benefits will host a chat room on Monday of annual conference during the dinner break from 5 to 6 p.m. The chat room will be held in the Terrace Hotel, room 316. You may come and go as you like and ask your questions of CFA representatives during this time. The Board of Pensions and Health Benefits continues to monitor the health care costs and insurance coverage to provide the best plan and premiums possible for our lay and clergy participants. The 2019 rates for the local church direct invoice for health insurance will be $144 a month. The Commission on Equitable Compensation presents the recommendations for minimum salary levels each year for conference approval. The Commission is recommending a 2% increase to minimum salary levels for 2019. The conference strategy team has continued their work during this past year and will present to the annual conference a process for ongoing evaluation of conference health and structure for ministry. They have prepared a video to update their progress that we will view now.
Hello, my name is Mike Eastridge. I'm chair of the Holston Conference Strategy Team. I'm here with the Reverend Amy Aycock, the newest member of our strategy team, and we appreciate the insight that you've been giving us over the course of the past year. For those of you that are new to Holston Conference or as members of the annual conference, let me give you just a brief overview of what the conference strategy team is and what we're doing. In 2017, the Holston Annual Conference adopted in full the Holston Conference Strategy Plan. The purpose of the plan is to structure the conference to help enable people to facilitate new mission and ministry throughout annual conference. You can review the plan on the conference website. If you haven't done so, you'll want to do that before annual conference. There are 7 elements to the plan, and the conference strategy team has divided itself into 7 different subcommittees, and the purpose of those subcommittees are to actually implement the plan that you approved last year at the annual conference. We're going to go over just briefly some of the elements of the plan, but we encourage you to read the actual report in the book of reports that you'll be receiving before annual conference. Rather than go through each element, I do want to focus on 2 elements in particular that we find the most exciting part of the plan, and for you to consider ways that you might be a part of implementing this new design for Holston Annual Conference moving into the future. The overarching goal of the comprehensive strategy plan is to strengthen the connection, because we know that we're better when we work together. We're all one body of Christ, and we're all called to be disciples of Christ and call more disciples for the transformation of the world. So the strategy plan is designed to create a structure for annual conference to enable us to do that more effectively, more innovatively, and more efficiently. Among the elements of the strategy plan are ways to support clergy and churches, to find greater health in the finances, to look at all the committees and the agencies of the conference to make sure we're not overlapping in our responsibilities. We're looking at the way the conference is staffed and looking at communications. But I'd like for Amy to talk a little bit about the most exciting part of the plan, and it's the core part of the plan that really calls us to be able to do mission and ministry together. And that's the structure of the missional hubs.
So I just want to echo what Mike said. This is my favorite part of the conference strategy, the part that I'm most excited about. We have come up with a hashtag for missional hubs, and it's called #PassionInAction. And so what we want people to think about with missional hubs is how do we take our spiritual gifts that God has given us and combine those with the things that really make us come alive when we do them, what we're most passionate about, and connecting those in community within our local church and with other churches within the district where we are, so that we can partner together and do more together to grow God's kingdom. So we're really excited about that. You're going to see a video at Annual Conference. It's going to talk more about what missional hubs look like and also share some good news stories of transforming work that's already happening with already existing missional hubs within our conference. And we're hoping to launch missional hubs conference-wide in fall of 2018. So stay tuned, get excited, and begin to think about how you can join in and put your passion into action.
Thanks, Amy. It is exciting. And again, this is the very center of the entire conference strategy plan is to enable people to fulfill their call to mission. So keep attuned to additional information about how you can be a part of your missional hub in your district. Another new exciting development is the seventh element of the comprehensive strategy plan, and that's communications. Reverend Aycock is the chair of that subcommittee working on communications. So I'd like for her to share with you a little bit about the things that they're working toward and what they're doing.
So communications, it is so hard, I think, to keep up with how fast things change in our social media and in websites, and keeping things upgraded and relevant to where we are today in the rest of the world. And so the communications subcommittee is working with communications staff at the conference level, as well as the communications advisory board. And we're also pulling in task force professionals in the wider mass media and communications profession to help us take a look at everything that we're doing as a conference to communicate among districts, to communicate from the conference level, so that we're all on the same page about what's happening in the life of our conference. We're staying focused on our shared mission and purpose as churches in the Holston Conference. And also we're being more intentional to share those good news stories that God is doing transformational work in us and among us, and being able to put that at the forefront and be reminded of where our hope is, and to see evidence of God's work in our lives to keep inspiring us and encouraging us to keep going. So that's really the impetus for our work in the communications subcommittee, and we're excited to roll out some new tools. We're looking at potentially a conference app. We're also looking at upgrading the website, and also about adding a bilingual translator so that all of our communications eventually can be in English and in Spanish. So that's just kind of a taste of where we're going, and we're excited about that.
So you can see there's a lot of exciting developments taking place, and we want to make sure that you know that you have a part in the implementation of this strategy plan. God places on your heart new ideas or visions for mission and ministry, and we want you to be a part of the process as well. So please don't hesitate to let us know if you have an interest in the plan. You can find the plan on the website under the conference strategy team page, and you can also Ask us if you have any questions. But above all that, we ask for your continued prayers and guidance as we move forward. And thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you at the lake.
You may read more about their work in the Book of Reports. Members of the conference strategy team are listed at strategy.holston.org. They are happy to hear from you with questions or comments. There will be a 20-minute session for consideration of new business on Tuesday afternoon. To facilitate this process, the Rules and Order Committee recommended to the Annual Conference Planning Committee that items for new business be submitted to the conference secretary in writing and signed by the end of the Monday morning business session. Each item will be time-stamped by the conference secretary. New business items will be considered by the annual conference, time permitting, in the order received. Our time at annual conference is filled with many opportunities to learn about our shared ministries and the ways that we live out our call to discipleship. Please take the time to read the Book of Reports so that you are prepared to enter fully into the annual conference sessions. Especially if this is your first time to attend annual conference, you are encouraged to read through the orientation guide. During your time at annual conference, please visit the displays and Cokesbury bookstore, which will be in the Harrell Center auditorium next door to Stewart. A reporting guide for lay members is found at the back of the Book of Reports to help you take notes so that you can better share about your experience with your local congregation. For those who are not attending annual conference, a live streaming link of the week's events will be available at ac.holston.org. Be sure to share this information with your home congregation so that they can join in the annual conference experience. This year, as we gather at Lake Junaluska for annual conference, we will consider the opportunities that are before us. We will also remember the promises of grace that sustain us. We will hear recommendations for our future, and we will build on the faithful steps of the past. We will give thanks for those who have served faithfully and those who have entered God's eternal presence. We will rejoice in those who are newly responding to God's call, and we will continue to share our time and offerings to love others in Jesus' name. Jesus is good. God is at work in our world, and God is at work in Holston Conference. May God grant us the courage to be all that God would have us to be and do all that God would have us to do so that the world may behold the presence of God through us. Thank you for viewing this pre-conference briefing. We look forward to seeing you at the lake.